I remember this one time I almost destroyed my homie's grundle. So I was on a school trip with the orchestra to play in Disney World. First of all, I'd like to make it clear that yes, I did play the violin, and no, I was not good. And I'm not being humble. I sucked. But one of my best friends, Trevor, was the first chair, and Mr. Nardelello never kicked me out. He was the orchestra teacher, so I stayed. I do think that part of the reason he didn't kick me out is because he knew if I left, Trevor might, and he couldn't afford that. And yes, we were very disruptive, which was disrespectful on my part because I also sucked. Anyway, so we were in Florida, and we were staying at one of the Disney World resort hotels, and every night we had to have this meeting between the whole orchestra about what we were going to do the next day. Whole itinerary. Now, as some of you might know, I have some ADHD foibles, as it were. And at the time, I was not medicated. But honestly, I don't think it would have mattered. There is fun literally everywhere. Mickey right over there. Is Mickey over there? Is Donald right there? Is that a snorkel with Goofy? One night we had to do a meeting a little later than we would have wanted to, and it was when we was already in the pool. We was all soaking wet and in the pool doing backflips and shit. Had to get out the pool to go to this little meeting by the side of the pool. Me and Trevor were being a tad disruptive. We had taken to snapping each other with rat tails. For those of you that don't know, a rat tail is a way that you can fold a towel to turn it into a weapon. I was a master. Trevor was my Padawan. Over the past couple of days, he had been getting a lot better at his construction of the rat tail, and it was starting to hurt. It was starting to draw some blood on me. After 3 or 4 times of Mr. Nardelello telling us not so politely to shut the fuck up, we finally did. Unfortunately, Trevor had got the best of me. I couldn't have that. It was quiet. Still. Lest the sound of Mr. Nardelello rattling off the itinerary for the morrow. In the silence, I struggled to create my perfection, which I later named Herbert. When it was ready, I just casually stood up, and I said nothing. But in my mind, I was focused. My form was impeccable. My aim was deliberate and true. I hit him in the right testicle, and he sang for me. He screamed, y'all. He screamed a lot. He screamed to the point where I felt bad immediately. My tail was too powerful. It was too powerful. He was a Padawan, and I was being a bad master. I knew there would be no retribution. He would never get his revenge. He lacked the capability. It was the end of the battle, and he had lost. But one thing I did do that day is I gave Mr. Nardelello, our orchestra teacher, some joy. The prodigy violinist Trevor, who had helped to make his orchestra what it was in absolute agony. And the disruptive, talentless albino who'd played better as mascot had done it. And now he could be punished with 0 guilt. And as the crowd drowned out Trevor's screams of agony with laughter, Mr. Nardelello sat alone at the head of the class. With his arms crossed, he chuckled to himself, and I can only imagine that he said silently as all diverged to chaos. That's what the fuck you get.